Good morning. My name is Jennifer Ryon, and on behalf of the Alliance of Women in Workers' Compensation, I want to welcome you to today's webinar. Today is our first webinar of 2021, and we are excited to have you with us. This webinar, titled Let's Talk Mentoring, will last approximately 1 hour and is a live interactive webinar being broadcasted today, Thursday, January 28th, 2021. Before we get started, I would like to thank our 2021 corporate sponsors for their support on hosting events such as this. They support us not because they want their logos up on a screen, but they support the cause, which is to effect positive change in the workers' compensation industry through networking, support, mentoring, and collaboration. The Alliance is inclusive of all professionals in workers' compensation, regardless of their career stage, with the belief that we can all learn from and support each other. Please be sure to head to the AWWC website for all upcoming virtual events. Our theme this year is Through the Lens, which will allow us to take different topics each month and focus on specific conversations that will bring value to our audiences. We all hear talking about how important having a mentor is within your personal and professional development, but very few people have one. Why? We will hear from industry colleagues, each in different phases of their career, as we zoom in on this topic. Today, you will hear from their experiences of being a mentor, finding a mentor, and being a mentee, and insight into taking the fear out of this process. Listen and learn from experienced mentors and mentees as we learn more deeply about methods and tricks and tips for successful mentoring. Our panelists today includes Jackie Arbelaez, one of our AWWC ambassadors and from CORA Physical Therapy, Tracy Reed, one of our AWWC ambassadors from Georgia Spine and Orthopaedics, and Haley Karaswello, our AWWC program coordinator. During this interactive webinar, you will have the opportunity to interact with the panel and ask questions through the Zoom chat feature seen on your screen. Please feel free to ask questions and we will try to answer as many questions as time permits. Thank you for the time you're spending with us today, and we hope you enjoyed this webinar. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm seeing all the chats. I'm loving it already. We are starting the chat feature on the right. So if you guys just joined, we will be monitoring the chat feature throughout this session. But we're so excited to have you all here today. I'm so excited to have the panelists that we have brought on to talk about mentoring. Each lady is within their different phases within their career. So we were doing some prep calls last week and some questions back and forth, and just their insight is so motivating to myself as well. So I'm going to jump right into it. We're going to have about 45 minutes of dialogue back and forth. I'll be monitoring the chat. So if you guys have any questions or we're not hitting on something that you really want us to hone in on, please put it in the chat and we'll be sure to go through those. So let's go ahead and start, and we'll go through. I'm gonna have Haley introduce herself, tell her a little bit about her background. Then we're gonna go to Tracy and then Jackie. So Haley, take it off.
Hi guys, I'm Haley Karaswello. I am currently the program coordinator for the Alliance. I've been in this position for a little over a year now. This past May, I graduated from Florida State University with my bachelor's degree. And as somebody who is new to their career, I'm only a year in, I've learned so much from my mentors even before I started, and what I've learned now this past year. And I'm excited to share a little bit about my experiences with y'all today.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tracy Reed. I am the Vice President of Business Development for Georgia Spine and Orthopaedics, Neurological Institute for Concussion and Headache, and the Surgery Center of Roswell. I'm excited to be here as well. Mentoring is extremely important to me because it creates growth and opportunity and development.
Good morning. I am Jackie Arbelaez, and I am the Senior Work Comp Business Development for CORA Physical Therapy. I am very glad to be here amongst these wonderful ladies. I'm very excited about this topic because it holds true to my heart. And mentoring is very important for everyone when it comes to whether it's personal or professional. So I'm very excited to share our insights and our thoughts, our personal experiences. So thank you.
Thank you, ladies. So I'm going to jump right into it. We talk about mentoring and how mentoring is important. And as each of us are through our career, there's some outgoing individuals, there's some more quiet ones. And I wanted to start off with saying that if you don't already have a mentor or you haven't been a mentee, it's okay, right? You can start in any phase of your career, any phase of your personal and professional life. So I want to start off with asking Jackie, because some of the background that I learned about Jackie last week during this prep was that you weren't one to raise your hand at the beginning, and you didn't really have a mentor at the beginning of your career. So kind of talk through that journey and what you learned from not having a mentor, and then the benefits of having a mentor now.
So for me, I was very introvert, and a lot of people find that very hard to believe, but I was. I never would raise my hand because I would be embarrassed, because knowing that I didn't have that kind of knowledge or education. So, and I didn't have a mentor to really look up to, as far as to trust someone, because of the fact of my insecurities. So I think it's very important throughout life to really open yourself and be vulnerable, to say, hey, I don't know this. And the more questions you ask, the more that you become educated, not only for yourself as internal growth, but as external growth when it comes to your professional development. And for me, I think for me being a mentor for myself, I think that's my first phase. It's saying, I can do this. Don't be embarrassed. Ask questions, get to know people. That's how I'm going to grow within myself, and also that environment that I'm in. And I think mentoring is huge. So I try to adapt that skepticism that I had in the past. And now I try to be that kind of person, as far as saying, don't be shy. Don't think that any question I'm gonna judge you, because I'm not. I'm here to be that resource for you, because I've been there, done that. And I want people to flourish. I want them to grow, because I now, in this stage of my life, and I'm gonna be 50 this year, I actually have no problems asking. I am not ashamed of asking, because it's who I am now. I'm very comfortable in my skin.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
Did someone catapult you into realizing that you needed to ask, or what was that pivotal point that you realized that you needed it?
Coming into the workers' comp industry, I was more in the administrative when it came to operations. So I was more in an office setting. And I think coming into the workers' comp industry, I was about 8 years ago, was that opportunity that I was like, either I come into this full committed and grow, or I'm just going to fail. So I just decided to jump in and catapult myself. And this is where I am today. I'm very happy that I've had a lot of mentoring when it comes to either peer-to-peer or whether it's male, females. And I've been very fortunate throughout my years in this career that I've met some amazing people, some amazing individuals and women that have supported me in that journey to where I am now. So I'm very grateful for that, because I've learned a lot, a lot.
So when you first came into the work comp industry, did you try to hone in on a small group of individuals that you felt comfortable with, or what did that roadmap look like?
It was in baby stages. It was very baby stages, because like I said, I was an introvert. So I didn't know what to expect, because I didn't know the workers' comp space. I only knew the basis, when it came to my previous employer, and them just giving me the foundation that I need to be successful when it came to the company and the career that I chose. And before you know it, I just started getting to know people, and people started warming up to me. And as they warmed up to me, I was more open as far as asking questions. And before you know it, I just started feeling more and more comfortable within myself, and again, in my skin, and saying, okay, I can do this. And before you know it, I just went full blown, and I just started going up to people saying, introduce myself, how are you, and asking questions. And people were very receptive. So I'm very grateful for that, because a lot of people were very receptive, and I got the opportunity to grow. And this is how I became into the Alliance of Women, because of that. So I'm very grateful.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that it wasn't like a big rush, right? It was a slow. So there's some people that can, life when they walk into a room, they're it, right? And then there's people that it's okay to take baby steps and you can still get there, right? We all have different journeys of our growth. And on that, kind of comparing, because I would say Jackie and Tracy kind of have different backgrounds of mentorship and gaining them. So Tracy, kind of talk about how you were raised and with being outgoing, and you were always one to raise your hand. So talk about that experience and what you learned from that.
Again, during the prep call, I had to say I was born like this. And I definitely come from a family where I was pushed. I mean, I was told to ask. There's never a dumb question. You'll never know unless you ask. So I had that support at a very, very, very early age. The self-confidence was drilled into me. I had daily affirmations. They were literally cheerleaders for me, encouraging me, saying you can be whatever you want to be. They never put limits on me. So that's kind of why, I don't have a problem with doing that for others now. It's literally in my blood. My mother has a huge family. So in order to be recognized, you had to be able to raise your hand and be seen and ask. So it just comes naturally for me. And again, that's why I really, really feel comfortable with encouraging and helping others. I have the opportunity to be mentor and coach now. So I understand and I'm able to recognize it. But let me say this, I still have mentors myself because I do believe that collaboration is added value to my life professionally and personally.
Great. So we're taking two individuals that have had careers and both different experiences. One that first would not raise their hand, and then one that always raised their hand. I want to loop it back around to Haley now. Haley's brand new into her professional career, about a year in. So Haley, kind of talk about, for those that are newer in the industry, what are you looking from talking to mentors maybe in this audience or the panel, and then also those that are looking to find mentors? What has been your approach to it, and what are you looking for in a mentor?
Yeah, so just starting off, I'm learning to look looking to learn as much as I can. I am only a year in, so people sharing their stories and sharing their success stories as well as their failure stories is important to me, because it's intimidating coming in and being like, oh, they're the VP of this person. Like, how am I going to get to that point? What's their story? And somebody to collaborate with, share my goals with, someone to hold me accountable as well, to be my cheerleader, because it's hard to have confidence, and I'm learning that. And it's something I work on every day, and be able to ask those questions to, and somebody I can build a relationship with and learn a lot from. So yeah, I think there's a lot to learn as a mentee, and mentors with different backgrounds and experiences willing to share their stories with somebody coming in is really important to me.
Gotcha. No, that's great. So I want to kind of dive down into, mentors, and I love everyone's comments. We're watching them. We've gotten a couple questions, so I'm going to hold them to about the end, but I will ask one of these because we kind of were talking about coming into the industry, and Jackie, you were not in the industry and you came in. What would you suggest for someone who has not had experience with workers' compensation? How do you break in? How do you gain the network and really learn as much as you can when you're brand new?
So when I first came in, again, I was never in the workers' comp. I was more office administration at operations. So, and also I moved from New York here. So for me, it was a whole new different state, whole new different ball game. So I actually reached out to certain individuals. I would do my research as far as the local organizations, and then I would attend the meetings, and then I would just go up to people little by little and observe and listen a lot. And I would go up to people and ask, hi, how are you? My name is Jackie, and this is what I do. And then I would little by little start making those networking connections. And before you know it, those networking connections grew into friendships. And then after that, on top of that, they became great resources for me. And they just conform me to where I am today. And I have to say, I'm very grateful for those individuals who they know who they are if they're on the call. And I'm very grateful for them because I didn't know anything about workers' comp. And they're the ones who actually taught me and were kind enough to take me under their wing and give me such valuable points. And then we develop friendships and relationships. So that's how I think you would break in, and you have so many resources, and that's how I actually was able to create them because I looked into those resources.
That's great. I think the biggest thing, and if anyone knows me, they know me that I love the word vulnerability, right? And being vulnerable and being self-aware and just putting yourself out there. And just resonating with me, I was more closed off. I thought I needed to be, more like a robot almost, of like perfection. And that's not really the case at all. I think when you open up and you become vulnerable and you humanize yourself, that opens up so many doors to find mentors and then be a mentor. I think that's a big piece that I've found. So mentors can see us where we need to improve, where we cannot, right? So people perceive us differently maybe than what we perceive ourselves. Tracy, kind of talk to me on, was there a time in your life that this has helped you see things differently, and how has it impacted your career when you've asked someone, hey, how do you see me? And then what their feedback was, and was it the same as how you saw it, or was it like, whoa, I'm totally different than that in real life?
I recently had a post on LinkedIn because I was asked many years ago to ask your family and your colleagues what they see. Like, how do they feel when you walk in the room? What do they think when they hear your name? And so I did that. And two people, one pulled me to the side and one I went to lunch with. And it's funny because when you ask somebody to do that, they're like, oh, you're so sweet. We love you. Everybody's very complimentary. But I was digging, saying, no, tell me the truth. Be, very honest with me. And I'm grateful to this day because between the both of them, what they said was, we love your energy. We love your passion. However, sometimes it is so strong, depending on the topic, it can come across as negative. I was like, whoa, anybody who really knows me knows there's not a negative bone in my body. I am a cheerleader. I truly am a lover of people. And it was a huge wake up call to me because back then I was responsible for training new hires. So it really checked me because I had the opportunity to be able to hurt or help new employees as they started with us and on their journey. So I literally carry that with me today. And I remain very mindful of my tone, my body language, and the words that I choose, because I never, ever want to come across as negative. Yes, rah, passionate, walk into the room, energy, light bulb. Yes, but I always want that to be welcoming and never push somebody away or make them feel uncomfortable.
Asking someone their opinion of you obviously puts you in a very raw position, right? And I love, Dana asked in the chat was, how can you tell if the person you are looking at as a mentor has your best interest in mind? So I think let's kind of rewind a little bit, right? On finding a mentor. How do you know that's the right mentor for you? And then also, I'd like to kind of dive down into the idea of mentors you don't need to do exactly what a mentor says, right? You want the well-rounded answers and the guidance, but kind of, Jackie, kind of talk to me about, how do you find a mentor? How do you know that you can trust them? And have you had any experiences where maybe the mentor really didn't fit for what you were needing?
Well, I think someone, as far as for me, I had to become and learn. I think one of the traits is to be humble. And it's very important. I have to find that humbleness as far as within that person and to be genuine. And again, that comes to vulnerability. And I found some that have the best interest for me, and some have not, and that's okay, because that actually, gives me diversity as far as the trust as well. So for me, I have to say, many people so far, I have to say, have been very humble and wanting me to succeed. So they give me, just like Tracy, they tell me, listen, I just want to give you a little feedback. You were, and sometimes I'm like, I ask, was I a little too straightforward? Was I a little too hard? Maybe it's that New Yorker in me that comes out too strong. And sometimes people take it the wrong way, but I always ask, amongst my team, my mentors, and also whoever I think that I'm being a mentor for within my team, I ask them, did I come off too abrasive? And as a matter of fact, I just had that yesterday. I had a call with one of my team members, and I was like, did I come off too abrasive? And he was like, no, not at all. I said, okay, if I ever do, I would never do that for you. And he was like, absolutely not. And I even asked him, do you think that I have been a mentor to you in some shape or capacity? And I think that we have both learned from each other. So that's a great thing, because he actually was very shy, just like I was. And I told him, I was in your shoes. So I am actually going to mold you into what I am today. And that's kind of fearful, but it was a good thing, because he is just an amazing person now. He has grown out of his shell, and it's just great that I can actually make such an impact to a person.
Yeah, no, that's great. When we're talking about leaders and then working with colleagues and, all different levels. So I want to flip it to, the peer-to-peer. So how do you mentor peer-to-peer? Or Tracy, kind of talk to me on that, because I loved your response when we were talking through this on when we got the question of how do you mentor peer-to-peer? You kind of switched it a little bit from the angle. So kind of talk to me on your thoughts.
I think this question immediately made me think of those who are in my age, that era. Back in the day, we called it cross training, and it was actually mandatory in most companies. And it was very beneficial and valuable, because it opens you up to the other departments, the other colleagues that you had to lean on. So I believe that you can do that and respect and learn from one another, focusing what that support is from peer to peer, what each person needs from the other person for you all to be able to success individually and collectively. The different experiences, backgrounds, and your working styles, that definitely can help both parties as well. And you'll be able to learn, different techniques. I'm not saying, I tell my team all the time, I don't know everything. I'm normally the person leading the call, but please, I look at Haley and her sweet young face. And I have a lot of young folks on my team. And I say, hey, just because I'm seasoned and I've had these life experience, I don't know everything. I learn from them every day. I have to pull from them every day. So I love that collaboration. So that peer to peer, we briefly spoke earlier before this call, saying maybe we should, with the peer to peer, change the name of it. So, it's more of a learning experience, what we expect from each other, what we can pull from each other through a positive connection, and not more so of a negative, where it's like, well, you're telling me what to do, or I'm learning from you. It's a give and a take. And that's, I believe, that's what's needed and necessary on any team in any company.
Mm-hmm. I think sometimes the word mentorship is a little scary, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, wait a minute, do I have a mentor? What is a mentor? How do I find a mentor? What goes about it? But, you start, just going over and over in your mind. And I think there's so many layers of mentors and mentorships. And even if you don't have we're not having name tags over here saying I'm a mentor, right? You can have reverse mentoring and learning from all different age brackets and career stages. And I think learning, always being open to learning, that naturally gets that mentorship flowing, right?
And I believe, as we are in this industry, another huge thing is respect. I think we have,
totally.
respect for each other. I think we're at a stage in our life, even Haley, she's young, and, coming to the seasonal, it's all about respect, respecting others. We're not all, seasoned, knowledgeable, we're all growing in different stages, and we just have to have that respect for each other.
Yeah. So Haley, I want to kind of bring it back to you a little bit on, where you're at. What would be one thing that you would tell someone new in their career to make sure they do when looking for a mentor? Because that's what you've been doing for the last year, right? And so what would you tell someone that is in your same shoes?
I would tell somebody to first share their goals with their mentor, and see if they're a good match. How can they get you to where you need to be? And are they going to hold you accountable to what you're saying you want to do? And if they have new ideas for you, maybe they can give you something to try. And that doesn't work out, then offer more advice and see where that can go. So that's kind of my advice with that. And also just ask questions. I've learned that I was so afraid to ask a question because I was like, oh, I'm supposed to know this and they're going to think I'm dumb if I ask. And that one question has led to so many more conversations. And I've learned so much more than I ever thought going into that conversation, just asking the question. So just finding a mentor that's open to answering those questions is really important for me.
No, that's great. So to kind of catapult into that, I'd love to know each of you guys, how has a mentor pushed you to go outside of your comfort zone? Because I think the common theme here throughout your journey is sometimes you do have to step out of that comfort zone. So I'm going to start with Jackie. Jackie, kind of tell me, how has your mentor pushed you outside of your comfort zone?
Challenging me in the areas where I think that I would not say it's a weakness. I would say it's more of being apprehensive, and that insecurity. Just like this today, communication for me in a large audience, when you said we have about 200 attendees, my palms started sweating. So I think these are the challenges that we have to do, and who want the best for us, have the best interest for us in order for us to grow internally, is to challenge us. And we have to put ourselves in certain scenarios and challenges that make us uncomfortable to see how we react and how we conform to those. And I think today is a perfect challenge for me, as far as, okay, either I dive into this or I'm not going to do it. So, and I just have to really just breathe and just make myself comfortable and know that I can do this, and just be my cheerleader for myself amongst my other friends and peers, saying, you got this, you got this, you got this, and it's just great. So I'm very grateful for that people challenge me, because they know that I have the capability, as far as that little insecurity that's saying, you can't do this. Everybody else is like cheering for me and saying, yes, you can. Just like you ladies, I told you I'm nervous, and you guys were like, don't worry, you got this. So it's that camaraderie that I have, and I've been very lucky to have and to be exposed to.
Yeah, I love how Dana said growth happens when you're out of your comfort zone. I think you can resonate with that, Jackie, right? I mean,
yes, for sure.
So Tracey, kind of what are your thoughts on, how has your mentor pushed you to go outside of your comfort zone? Because for me, I feel like you don't have a uncomfort, your comfort zone is so big that what is it like for you to go out of your comfort zone?
Well, I would say initially, and I'm trying to look at some of the chat and answer some of that as well, but specifically to that point, I would say in the beginning, yes, I am a very joyful, high energy person, but one of my mentors said, start explaining your passion for the business, because I was an injured worker. And when I told him my story, he was like, gosh, you got to tell everybody that story. They will understand where you're coming from. It opened up so many relationships. It opened up business, just because they were saying, oh, that's why she thinks that way. Or, why didn't we hear or think of that before? Well, when you're sitting in that circle and all of those parties involved as an injured worker in the work comp industry, oh, you get a different lens for it. So I spoke from a different level. And when I told my story, people were able to relate to it. So just again, being open, I never would have shared that. Yes, I am a very open person, but I do still, keep things that's really personal and family to myself. But that ended up being huge for me. I would not honestly have done that had he not said, we had several conferences, and he said, you know what, you really need to start sharing that. It'll make people understand where that passion for your job is coming from. And it really did. I mean, it was just a snowball effect in a very, very positive way. And let me just piggyback a little bit of what I saw. I don't see the name, but they said, a mentor can advise. I have a specific to that. Yes, you don't have to do everything they say, they suggest, because nobody knows you more than you. And just from explaining how high energy, in the beginning, as a younger person, I saw myself trying to fit into, a mold that really wasn't for me, because I was listening. I mean, they were giving me good advice, but I didn't want to change my whole self. And so my next mentor said, look, there's a balance. And so as as you get older, you understand it. Just like you said, Jackie, you become so comfortable in your skin. And so it's a process. I would definitely say it's a process. So I'm very glad that someone brought that up in the chat room.
And I think that people can resonate with us as far as, because we're all different stages and levels within our career. And I think people can relate. So it's also about being relatable.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's coming in your journey, and you need to be okay with your journey, right? Some people come into their own a lot faster than others. And no matter where you are, know that you can have that group or that board of directors. I think Angel asked, for us to kind of talk about the importance to continue to find the personal board of directors and mentors, even when we reach an executive or a C-suite, and to continue the growth. It doesn't matter what period of your journey you're on, having that core sounding board is so important. And I think when we all acknowledge that and accept it and embrace it, that's when that growth really happens, and the openness to change and to really find who are your key people to help move you forward to reach your goals. And Haley, you said it perfectly. The first thing, you need to let your mentors know what your goals are. Because if you just vomit everything out, and just hope to have them guide you through life, they're not going to know, right? Yeah. And so being able to do that is very helpful.
And I think that goes along with, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I see that Terry said something about passion, and yes, we're definitely passionate about what we do. And that's another thing. I think being passionate amongst all the other, being genuine, passionate, relatable, all those things is something that we all have to have. And I think back to what Tracy said, she's passionate. And I'm very passionate. I love what I do. I'm very, very fortunate, because people used to tell me in the past, you should become, business development. I'm like, no way. No way. No, I could never do that. So myself, I was my worst enemy. I would say never. So never say never. And look at me now, and in my 50s, started in the late 40s, and I'm passionate. I love what I do, and I love meeting new people, and I'm glad that I can actually create new relationships. So sorry, Haley, I cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just going to say, sharing your goals goes along with getting outside of your comfort zone, because you can share those goals, but you need your mentor to push you outside of your comfort zone. And just being a year in, I've tried so many new things that I never thought I would do. Even when Kimberly was like, why don't you join this webinar? I was like, no way, I can't do public speaking. I can't do that. And then I thought, why not? Why not just push myself and see what I can do, and just put more experiences under my belt. So I think that's important.
And you have the support too, right? And so you have that great sounding board, and the, to allow you to know that you are secure within the movement and the pathways that you go. So go ahead.
We're seeing, that passion in Haley, and we're seeing those capabilities. Like I see her and I'm like, I could see that she is ready to go. So Haley, you're on a great path. I mean, yes, I see a shining star.
Yeah. Thank you.
So mentors, right? The number of mentors, when to do a mentor. So someone asked in the audience, what is the ideal amount of mentors to have? So Tracy, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I saw that as well. I have more than one. I think if you're looking for a specific expertise, a specific niche, um, I will never ever. She can't go anywhere. My HR uh, mentor. She has helped me tremendously with work and with family. I mean, on so many different levels. So I don't think that I'm reading it. I don't think there's a magic number.
Mhm.
You know, again, we're all at different stages. It's a process, different personalities, depending on the tribe, the support that you have. But definitely, you can have more than one for sure. I do. And there's different stages in your life. I always say some people are in your life for a reason and a season. Sometimes that season is long term, sometimes it's short term. So I definitely believe that. I have several. I'm grateful for all of them. You know who you are. But again, that HR, I will pay her to stay because she has been just a huge sounding board for me. Even my kids, she just has such great insight and she's such an expert on that level. It's funny, one of the greatest things she said is, "Oh, don't worry, you'll always have a great game face. You have children, they will help you have a game face continually."
Mhm.
And that was some of the best advice she could give me because some of the situations they put you in their different stages in life, you learn to have a good game face for sure.
Yeah, you look at different mentors for what you're needing at that moment, right? If you need someone specifically for your job or you want to be a C level and you're not, well, find someone within that C level or has that experience to talk to. If you need a mentor just to know how to network better. I mean, there's so many different angles of what a mentor is. I would never want to put a limit or say you
Right,
have to have one or five or 10. I,
right.
I think it's I think it's what you're looking for out of it. One of the questions that I got was that as a young leader in the works place, oftentimes when we have a passion for multiple lines of business, operations, business strategy, analytics, etc., how do you narrow in on your expertise with your mentor so that you can find your place to grow? So that's hard, right? I mean, Haley, I'm sure coming into a new, fresh world here, and there's so many different pathways to go down. I don't know, Jackie or Tracy, did you guys have a mentor that kind of moved you into the path that you're at today or the position that you're at today? And if so, what was that experience like?
Go ahead, Tracy. I'll
Well,
follow
I
you.
saw you shaking your head, so I was waiting on you.
Go for it.
Okay. I would say I didn't have one. You know, I know I hear a lot of get people in my area say you kind of fell into workers comp. You know, back then they didn't really have that as a, you know, a major or a minor in college. But no, mine was just pretty unique in the type of person that I am and my personality. Again, I kind of draw people to me. I don't really have to seek out a lot of folks. I am very blessed in that respect that people kind of see me and try to help me. And then they literally pass me to somebody else and it's just continue those relationships just continue to snowball and you just continue to connect with people. I will say I saw something on there about uh mentors. I do weed out. I mean, I'm a lover of people, but you know, I don't have time. We all have the same amount of time in the day. So negative, I kind of, you know, shy away from. I can politely bow out and gracefully say thank you and just move on. So no, I didn't have really, I would say, a certain pathway. It literally just came to me. And again, because I asked, I'm a person. If I see someone and I have that connection and that feeling that they're trustworthy, that they're honest and transparent, and my goals kind of line up with their goals, immediately, probably within maybe that 5 minutes, that conversation, I can tell, okay, guess what? That's somebody that I need to connect to, have in my circle of mentorship.
Oh, that's great.
For
Jackie,
me,
what are your thoughts on that?
I think it was, different stages. And when it came to my career, that when I first came in, I was shy, and my old boss, was very knowledgeable, has been in the workers' comp industry for a very long time. So he is very well versed, very well educated, and very well known. So he saw that I was very shy, but saw the potential. So he just, just made me very comfortable to start asking questions. And then he would say, "Are you sure? Do you have any questions?" And he made me comfortable to the point that I was like, okay, this is what I need to know. And before you know it, he actually was the first one when I came into the workers' comp industry. And before you know it, I started meeting other people. And like I said, it's just all about trusting. And before you know it, I still speak to my old boss. And to this day, I always say thank you to him, because he's the one that gave me that conformity that I am comfortable enough and secure enough and knowledgeable. And then after that, I started getting to know more and more people, and I developed friendships throughout the way. And I have to say, one of my best friends is in the industry. And just like Tracy, I love her. She tells me how it is. She always sees the best interest. And whenever she tells me something, I never take it as constructive criticism. I see it more as her wanting me to grow and being humble about it, and just passionate for me to grow, because she sees the potential in me. So I love her for that. And she's just an amazing person. So I'm very grateful for those people that I still have in these days.
Mhm. So everyone asks, how do you find a mentor? And I know we've kind of gone around in a circle of finding mentors, but it was very high level. There's not just a list of mentors, right?
Mentorship.com.
Right. So Haley, new in your career, how do you find a mentor?
I think it's just within the organization. I've found my mentors as well. Starting off talking to one person, and then you get comfortable talking to other people, and it kind of snowballs from there. And I think it's just practice, honestly, just getting comfortable having that conversation, and being open with somebody, and seeing if their goals align with yours, and if they can get you to where you need to be. I think that's how I've gone about finding mine, and looking at the person's history and what have they done in the past that I might be interested in, and how can they coach me through it. So yeah.
I wish there was just a list, right? I think we can all start too. Anyone in the audience, the Alliance is such a great place to find mentors, and just to even just have friendships and networking. All of us on the ambassador program, the board, and then just everyone that participates within the Alliance. This is the safe zone. I think, reach out to those. A lot of us are extremely passionate about the workers' compensation industry, our careers, how we grew. We're all in different stages. And so I think it's just raising your hand and asking. Is it that simple?
I'll also say this. Sorry. I'll also say this. There's all organizations that may be closer to you locally. I mean, I'm sure we have people on this call from, all across the map. But I do see, and I agree with a comment here of what if, someone is shy and they don't want to ask. I would say again, Jackie, I kind of think we, pre-call, we're in the same age group. We should have that eye. And remember, I talked about it before, where you kind of see where somebody is maybe wanting to. And so when you recognize that at this stage in your career, then you should pull them to the side, make them feel comfortable, start up a conversation with them, and see, because you're 9 times out of 10, you can spot it, because I know I can. And I'm really good at trying to make people feel comfortable in any situation. So I would say, as seasoned leaders, we should be mindful of not just our teams in our organizations, but the people around us outside of our regular work organizations, and making sure that we're, being that connector, and we're taking the lead and saying, okay, what can I give back? Because we've had so much poured into us over our years in our career.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's right. And Katie just messaged the panel, and I'm glad she did, because one of my biggest things is when I was prepping for this mentorship panel, I stepped back and I was like, wait a minute, who are my mentors? And what, and again, there's not like this big flashy sign that says, mentor. And we have to remember that you can have a mentor without having an official mentor, a knowledgeable resource, someone with whom you can ask a question to, share goals, receive constructive feedback. So they could be unofficial mentors. So, I think we need to be mindful of that. To those in the audience that haven't had an assigned mentor, know that, I'm sure there's people within your space that you still have grown from and you learn from, and that's still growth, right?
That circle, that tribe, I was saying, everyone has it. So don't feel the pressure of, oh my gosh, I got to go out and find me a mentor. I need at least one or two. No, that's not it at all.
Exactly. Well, guys, I want to be mindful of the time. We're a little bit less than 15 minutes. And so I kind of want to end, and everyone in the audience, if you have specific questions that we have not answered, please put those in now as I ask this last question to the ladies. So I'd like to go around and have you guys tell me the biggest lesson you have learned from your mentor. And so let's start with Haley.
Oh gosh. The biggest lesson I've learned is just to put myself out there and try new things. Just, as I've kept saying, starting off and I'm learning so much and I don't know exactly what direction I want my career to go in. So trying new things is so important. And my mentors sharing their experiences and their stories and how I can go about it better than they did is really cool for me, and just putting myself out there and trying it. So
awesome. Jackie, what about you?
For me, it was saying I can't do this or I never can do it. It's pretty much saying I can, I will overcome. And I have that support system that, again, they push me to those challenges. So I'm very grateful for the mentors, those peers that I have that push me and challenge me, and they know they can see that capability within me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how confident we all might be, you still have insecurities and, doubts that you to have that group, that strong group around you to keep telling you, you got this, you can do it. I think that's a huge, impactful piece of a mentor. So Tracy, what about you?
Mine was to be kind to myself, because I am extremely hard on myself. And I do that in an effort to be able to support everyone around me, my team and my colleagues, but also to practice saying no and remove the guilt from saying no, to avoid burnout and to be able to have a balance. So you are able to continue to pour into someone's life and be authentic about it. Because I am extremely hard on myself and it can be exhausting. So.
Yeah. So your mentor told you to give yourself grace.
Yes. They say you're so kind to everybody else. Make sure that you're kind to yourself and that you take time to decompress. So, I mean, I'm a work in progress, but that sticks out to me because I continue to challenge and make sure that I hold myself accountable in that respect daily.
Mm-hmm. I agree that balance is very important. Very important.
Especially now.
And like I said, I think how we create these, again, we don't like that word mentor, but I think how we create these relationships of mentoring is finding what things we have in common and what we're passionate about, and try to fulfill that and just push each other and make that connection.
Or what we're lacking are shortcomings, like, oh my gosh, he or she is so dynamic at ... if that's part of your goal.
See those attributes.
Yes.
So I'm going to round out the hour, and do any of you guys have any closing thoughts of mentorship and what it means to you, and any insight to the audience that we might not have hit on today? Haley, Jackie?
I think we pretty much touched everything. I think we could keep on going on and it would be more than an hour, but I think we've done an amazing job with all of us here, just talking about giving our opinions, our insights, and our stories, and how we've come to be either a mentor or what we see in a mentor. Yeah. And I think, people can reach out to us, and because they can relate to us. So absolutely reach out to any one of us. I think, we're open to new friendships, new networking.
Yeah. I think the biggest, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I would just say huge takeaway is ask. Don't be afraid to ask. However, in that same respect, be open to what you're asking. that vulnerability, that word that you love, Jennifer. I love that word as well.
Yeah.
Just making sure you just lay it out there. Look, we get the same 24 hours. We have one life. You don't want to have any regrets.
Yep.
So just go ahead and, do it.
Yep. And remember that we all started from somewhere, right? And we've all experienced a piece of, the commonality of going through this life, right? And so I think too is those that are younger in their career or have not raised their hand for a mentor, that we're all human, right? We all have struggles. We all are not perfect. We all are trying to do the best that we can. And when you humanize yourself and take it down to say, okay, I want to ask a question. I want to learn. I don't feel like you need to put that barricade up between you and others to protect yourself of saying, hey, I'm not perfect and I do need help and I do need to grow. I think the moment that you break that down and you welcome input and guidance, you grow tenfold throughout that.
And it's okay to be nervous.
Yeah.
It's okay to be nervous. We're human. I think that's good. That means, hey, you're trying to keep your A game. And something else I know that I'm trying to remember what Haley said is, oh, I don't want people to know that I don't know. 9 times out of 10, they already know you don't know. And I'm not and I'm not trying to in any way be mean. I'm only literally thinking of myself and my career. When you said that, I started having flashbacks because I was saying the same thing. Oh, but if I say this, then they'll know I don't. They know. So just ask because you'll be better for it. And when we did our prep call, I'm always the one raising my hand. And they said, we know Tracy's gonna ask. Yes, and I know you, all 10 of you behind me, will be writing the answer because I asked. So ask. It'll make you better for yourself, for your clients, for your team, for everyone that you're supporting.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you ladies so much for your time today. I love this dialogue. Like Jackie said, we could probably talk about this for hours on end. Those in the audience, reach out to any of us, reach out to other ambassadors, colleagues. We are all here in this journey to grow. We're excited about the upcoming themes throughout 2021. Please make sure you to keep going back to the website. Next week, we're starting the month of February, which is Heart Month. And so we'll be having another webinar next Thursday, which Haley will be pushing that out today or tomorrow. So be on the lookout. Again, ladies, thank you so much. It's such an honor to sit with you guys today.
My honor as well. Thank you so much, ladies. I truly appreciate you all in the Alliance of Women. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Have a
You
great
guys.
afternoon, guys. Bye.